Hi, everyone, and welcome. Good morning if you're in the same time zone as me. I've got my coffee. We're going to do some reading sprints. I'm joined by some lovely ladies. And before we continue, let's just everybody quickly introduce themselves. I haven't added all of the links in the description box, but I will do after the sprints end. So let's start with Stacy and then go around the room.
Hello, friends. I'm Stacy. I have a channel called Stacy's All Books, although I haven't posted anything on it in a very long time. You usually see me on people's channels like Yolene and Steve Talks Books and stuff, and I might hop on other people's channels. But this is my favorite thing to do every month, this 24-hour readathon, and I'm so glad that all of you guys are here today to do this one. So I'm excited.
I am Amanda, and I do have a channel. And right now, for the month of April, I'm posting one video every day. But I don't know why, because I make bad choices, I think. So it's not been as bad, actually, as I expected it to be. But I am happy that we're officially now more than halfway through the month today. So that's it. But I am happy that I'm here tonight to start this new book. I just finished a book like 10 minutes ago, so I'm ready to go.
Hello all, I'm Lana. I have a channel called Lore and Lullabies. I'm excited to be here. I'm the token Kiwi here today because Jerry is busy doing other things. So I'll be the token Kiwi.
Perfect.
Hey, I'm Ashley. My channel is Read Now, Sleep Later. I haven't posted in a while, but I juggle a lot of things, so I'm hoping to get back to it soon. I'm currently reading, what book am I reading? The Book of Cold Cases by, is it Simone St. James? I don't know. These ladies tell me to read something and I just read it. So that's why I'm here for the most part.
Perfect. Yeah, and Amanda, I don't know how you do it because this week I have the week off and I thought, well, let's try to just film one video each day and upload it. I did it for Monday and Tuesday and then I just didn't do it. Didn't do anything until today. So how you do it an entire month, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it helps. I can only film here at my computer. And so, oh, hi, Brandy. And so I just sit here and talk about stuff. And so I don't have that many clips and it's easy to just stick them all together. And so it's not as hard as if you were doing some kind of vlog all the time. There's Nicole. She's in Australia. She's close.
Nicole's actually really close to me, I think.
Hi,
She's
Maria.
like a few hours away.
Nicole is watching all of your videos.
I'm behind. I need to catch up.
I was about to say, I'm so behind.
Well, I said I was going to keep them all 10 to 15 minutes, and that happens for the most part. But there were 2 days where it's over 20 minutes. And then today, because I'm reading all night, tomorrow's is going to be a lot longer too. But
I loved your vlog, the last vlog that you did where you actually talked about all the videos. You're like, I'm going to film these and I'm going to edit these. And I'm like, girl, just read a book.
Right. Well, I do I batch everything for the month anyway. And I'm talking about that next week because I'm going to be batch filming for May. So anyway. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I didn't even know that it was a thing. I only did it because Steve did it back in September. And then he was like, I was talking to him about it and he's like, you need to try it. And I looked at my calendar and I was like, I think April's the only month I'm going to be able to do it. And then whenever I decided, somebody was like, oh, that's Veda. And I was like, what? So I had no idea that it was a thing, but
Perfect timing.
right.
Oh, by the way, because I don't think that I've mentioned it, but if you saw the thumbnail, it's quite obvious. All of us here, or most of us, I think, are going to start Fortuna Sworn. But if you want to read something else, of course, it's just reading sprints. You can read whatever you want. And to be honest, I don't really know what Fortuna Sworn is about. That's the cover.
That's a part of the
I
fun.
know that it's fantasy romance, and that sounded good to me.
You see the cover?
So pretty.
I wanted to get the paper copy of it, but I'm on a book buying thing right now.
Can I
I
get the
call it
back end?
thing because if I say ban, then that means I can't buy any.
I want to see the back end.
I don't have it.
You don't have the back end?
Oh, the back of my Kindle?
Yes.
No. I don't
Okay.
think. It says this weekend is going to be literary.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I've got Ashley working on a new decal for my Kindle, and I can't wait.
Yeah. I tested some stuff out today and I hated every single one of them, so I said, okay, I'm just gonna back away. But I'll send you a picture soon in the Discord.
I can't wait.
Yes, for me it's early, and for everybody else it's just really late, I think. Except maybe
For
Lana.
Lana is yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Afternoon?
it's 3 here.
Yeah, lucky. But that means that like the majority of your time is sleeping time. I mean, for us, like I cut my night short, so I still sleep, but I usually only sleep like 5 hours so I can get as much reading. But when you've got the day, when it's split in half like that, like when we do the Dewey 24-hour and it's like start at 7 in the morning, it's like I can't do that because I cannot stay. That means that I have to finish all of my reading up front because I'm not going to stay up till 7 in the morning the next day.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, it's late for some people, and I still need to finish Way of Kings today. So
Oh no!
I am going to read Fortuna Sworn now, but I don't think that I'll be finishing that one today.
I still need to start that.
I just like that it's only like 300 and something pages, this book. This time. I was
Yes.
like, nice.
It's doable to finish it in a weekend or in a couple of days because it's not as long as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think we should just try to keep the books that we choose for these as short as possible.
Yes, no Way of Kings.
I thought about doing one that was like a novella and we had to actually finish it before the end of the reading sprint. And I was like, I don't even know if I could read a novella in 3 hours because we don't read that much during our reading sprints.
Yeah, it would have to be like 50 pages or something.
The 5th season is one that I've been wanting to try for years now, and somehow it just never gets on my TBR. But I've heard so many amazing things.
It's really good.
I'm really intimidated by it. I read like the first 3 chapters, bawled my eyes out, and then ran out of that month and haven't picked it up since. So I'm like, oh, this is scary.
Oh no.
Yes, this always happens because I know with the Malazan read along with Steve, I both finished Gardens of the Moon and That House Gates on the day of the live show, and now the same is happening with Way of Kings. While I promised myself that I wasn't going to do this, I was going to finish Way of Kings yesterday. Yeah, doesn't happen.
Oh, they're long. I think that one is like 1,100 pages.
Yeah, it's a lot. But luckily, it's a quite easy reading style or writing style, so you can get through it quite quickly, but still, more than 1,000 pages, that's like 2 to 3 normal books.
I think the audiobook is like 40-something hours.
That is Brandon Sanderson, right? The Way of Kings?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first book in its Stormlight archive.
I haven't read Stormlight yet. I'm finishing Cytonic. Well, I have Cytonic left and then whatever the last novella is in that series before I start the big chunkers. I've read the first era of Mistborn, but not any of the rest of them. So
I really liked Era 1. I didn't really like Era 2 that much. It's like a Western kind of story with 2 law officers, and that just wasn't my thing. But the 4th and final book is coming out this year, so I'm still going to read it just because I want to have that feeling of completion. I read 3 books. I'm going to read the 4th one, and they're pretty short, so should be doable.
Yeah, those are like other than his young adults, that series are shorter. Yeah, when I first started reading fantasy, I remember thinking, a 600-page book was considered a big book. And then you get to Brandon Sanderson and you're like, 600 pages? That's like 1 week.
True.
Gardens
Yes.
of the Moon.
And then you get to Malazan, and everything else feels short.
Yeah.
And even if
And it's not even that long. Yeah. It's not even long.
so
I take so with those, the Garden of the Moon and Dead House Gates, I literally read over a month. So I made myself slow down for it, because if you read, like, Brandon Sanderson is a very accessible writing style. His writing style is super easy to read. He makes everything very clear what's happening. He's very good at making things visual. So it's easy to kind of read quickly. You're not going to miss much. But with Malazan, no.
Yeah.
I'll get to like a couple pages and I was like, what? Wait,
What
did he?
happened?
What? And then I have to go back and reread it. So I just can't.
Yeah, I read Gardens of the Moon, and it did take me longer, but I still read it too quickly. And so, like, I had the gist of what happened, and I knew where the different groups were and kind of what they were trying to do in the overall scheme of things. But then when I picked up Dead House Gates, I was like, no, wait a minute. Like, I felt like it was actually easier to keep up with what was going on. But also I was like, I don't have the brain power for this. And I just felt like I had too many things to read. So I was like, not right now. I'm just going to put it down. But I want to go back and like actually think about the chapters, like read them slow enough to be like, okay, what just happened in this chapter? And so I don't know, but
if you read it slow, it's pretty amazing story.
I just got to the point, like, I think I was like maybe a third in, and I was just like, maybe I'm just not smart enough for this. And so I'm just going to put that away for another day.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with intelligence. It's about patience.
No, I don't either. Gardens of the Moon, that very first chapter, I was like, oh, I have this. I know what's happening. And then like chapter 2, I was like, wait a minute. Do we not have any of those previous people from the first chapter in chapter 2? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, and you think the same thing about Dead House Gates. You're like, okay, now I know who everybody is. I can do this, right? And you get a Dead House Gates, and it's like the first chapter. It's like, who are these people?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. And I was like, I can't do this again right now.
Yeah. Well, I did like Dead House Gates better, but I don't know if that's just because I got used to his writing style and I knew what I was getting into. While with Gardens of the Moon, I saw like, okay, it's 600 pages. I can do this. But it's not 600 pages. It's like time commitment is double of that. So I didn't know what I was getting into. And with Dead House Gates, I thought, okay, I need to start up front because that one is even bigger, I think, than Gardens of the Moon. But I have this ebook with all 10 Malazan books in one, which is really easy to read. But at the other hand, you can't really see how far along in one particular book you're in. So I never had any idea, like, am I making progress? Am I going to be ready for the live show? So yeah, didn't think that one through. Exactly. And with fantasy, often it's just not one book. You're in for an entire series if you start one book.
And we had the discussion before about series versus standalones, but I think that in a series, the author just has more room to expand their world or to explain their world better. I don't know. I just feel like one book in a really well done world would leave me wanting more stories from that world. Like, I don't know, but
yeah. And I think that's something where if you have historical fantasy, for instance, you can probably do it better or easier just because you already have the world building done. You need to add a little bit of magic maybe, but the world itself is done. But if you have like a very big open world that's completely new, you're already going to spend a couple of pages just explaining that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're Robert Jordan, you spend chapters and chapters explaining. I'm reading that right now. And
How
we
far
keep
along are
talking
you?
about- I'm in Fires of Heaven. I think that might be number 5,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's the one that I DNF'd.
Okay. Well, I mean, it helps that I'm reading it on Voxer with Andrew from Get Right On In. So every day, like today, I called and called him and I was like, Nynaeve reminds me of me when I have PMS. Like, that's what I told him on Voxer. I was like, I know you don't know what it's like, but I'm going to tell you, it's when you're angry and you like it. And that's how Nynaeve sounds to me. Like,
Exactly.
she's angry and she likes it. So,
Guys, I'll be right back. Someone's just come to my door.
okay, maybe you have a surprise package.
Hopefully.
Nice. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Me too.
Then there's a POV change. It sometimes takes me a while before I recognize it, and then you have to go back to see where it happens, and it's a lot.
Which is why, I mean, I started out trying to read it just on audio, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. Like, because you can't just go back and be like, wait, who's talking? And so I had to go get the ebook too. I was like, I can't do this just on audio. I'm so lost.
He doesn't pause between, like when there's a space that, you know, this is a new section. He doesn't pause. He just goes right into it. Yeah. And I wouldn't have even known that if I wasn't reading along in the physical book. But it's like, okay, I got you now, Ralph Lister. I got you. You
But
can't be
both of
trusted.
you are listening to the book and then reading it at the same time? You're doing the immersive thing? Okay, maybe I need to start doing that as well.
That's what I did for book 1. Also, that's what I'm doing right now for this. This is also what I'm reading, this Robin Hobb book, Shaman's Crossing.
I haven't read that. I didn't even know that was a thing until I saw you post it on Instagram.
Well, this book doesn't look that big. And I was like, oh, this isn't very much. But this writing is like super tiny. And there's 600 pages in here. So when I pulled up the audiobook and it was 25 hours long, I was like, wait a minute.
Something's going on.
So I'm doing that. I'm immersion reading that one because I actually really like it, but it's just taken me forever to read it. I'm like,
is that the first one in her trilogy that's not in the Realm of the Elderlings?
It is. It's called the Soldier Son Trilogy. So it's a fascinating world, I think, that she's created. I really like it. But again, there's a little bit of Robert Jordan in there where she takes a whole chapter to explain something that I feel like she could have explained in a few paragraphs.
Oh,
not all those pages. But I like it.
See, I want to do that, but I have issues because I read faster than I can listen. So, like, when I try to read and listen at the same time, like, my eyes are going faster. And I can't really, like, get it to sink in. I don't know. Then I've tried different speeds and stuff, but I'm envious of people that can do that.
It's also not every audiobook is conducive for immersion reading. So it has to be done really well. Like I was just doing, it was Stephen King's Hearts in Atlantis. I have the physical book, but sometimes his books are ones that especially this one where it's not very deep. So it's like while I'm washing dishes, I can listen to it. But I tried the immersion reading and I was like, okay, this narrator just isn't working with my reading. His tempo was like this. So it's like at first he'd be really slow and I want to speed it up, and then he would speed up and I'm like, okay, slow down. So not every book is conducive to immersion.
Was Stephen King narrating that book?
No, it was actually William Hurt.
Oh, like the actor?
Yeah. But I was like,
maybe
you should stick with video film.
I've just been so surprised by how many books Stephen King narrates of his own books. And I was like, there's not a lot of fiction writers, I think, that do that. And my kids heard him talking one time and they were like, who is narrating that? I was like, that's Stephen King. So weird.
I don't think I've ever listened to him narrate before.
Oh, I think I've already read like 4 of them that he narrated. But I just finished Desperation and it's fantastic, by the way. But
this is Fool's Errand, and it's tiny. right? It's a tiny, tiny book. It's tiny. But no, it isn't. It's 700 pages.
Big one, yeah. Is that the next Robin Hobb on your TBR?
Yes. I'm going to read it with Brandy hopefully next month.
Such a good one.
Because I really need... So I don't have a problem with reading Robin Hobb. Her books are beautiful. I love every minute of them. They're so depressing at some points. So I need motivation. And Brandy's going to be that motivation. Get me going.
Perfect.
I already read the first 100 pages before I had to stop. I was like, okay, I'm not emotionally ready for this.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Derry's going to be so happy that people are going to start reading Robin Hobb even more.
Yeah, Derry recommended that starting with this Soldier Son series was probably a good idea because it's not as good as the, what's it called? Realm of the Elderlings? Or whatever those all those are with Fitz or whatever his name is. And so I have read Assassin's Apprentice, but then that's the only one I've read. And then I had this book, I just owned it, and so it randomly came up to read. So, but I am enjoying it. Like I said, she just gets wordy sometimes. But
yeah, but I do think that it's a good way to first read that one and then get into Realm of the Elderlings. I'm going to do it the other way around, but just because I started the Realm of the Elderlings and then I found out, oh, there are other books out there as well. But yeah, I'm afraid that I'm going to have a very high bar, and I'm going to be disappointed, not because it's a bad trilogy, but just because it's not as good as.
right.
So I'm curious, is she done with the Realm of the Elderlings?
Need to get on that, Nicole. You really do. From what I've heard, she was working on something pre-COVID, but it was with dragon's blood, I think, and then transmission of a virus. And then COVID happened, and she was like, might not be the best time to write something like this. So she let go of that idea, which is a pretty cool idea, but I do understand that at this time of the world, might not really be that wise. But so I think that her main story is ready, but that she might want to just write some other things in that world, but then with other main characters, probably.
I'd like it. I don't think I'd have a problem with that.
No, same. Okay, so I'm guessing either Shaman's Crossing, which is a non-Realm of the Elderlings, and I think that that's just a trilogy. So that's maybe lower commitment to give it a try. And otherwise, you need to start with the Farseer trilogy, because the Realm of the Elderlings, it's a 16-book long series. It's divided into smaller sub-series, but they all follow a timeline. So you really need to read them in order. So it's best to start with the Farseer trilogy. First book is Assassin's Apprentice.
Assassin's Apprentice. Yeah, that's the one I read.
And I think if you don't like that one, you can go over to Life Ship Traders, which is another trilogy, but it does take place after the Farseer trilogy. So it's best just...
So that's what I did, and I regret it. I wish I had just stuck with the order, because I ended up going back to read the Farseer trilogy anyway, and there were things that got spoiled in Live Ship Trader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't any big spoilers, but...
So Realm of the Elderling is like the whole thing, and it has trilogies inside it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
And
that's what I thought.
quartet.
But people were saying, like, this is part of the Fitz and the Fool, and this is part of the... And I was like, wait a minute. Are we still talking about the same thing? The same group of books? But okay.
Yeah, it can be pretty confusing, especially if you don't know the names of all of these sub-series. Because I also, in the beginning, I didn't know if somebody said Fitz and the Fool or the Tawny Man, where it stood in the Realm of the Elderlings.
Yeah.
Because I think that in total it's 5 sub-series or something like that. And then you have a novella in between, so it's definitely a lot.
When can you read the novella?
I think it's best before Tawny Man. So either after the Farseer trilogy or after Live Ship Traders. But you can
Okay,
basically...
Brandy, we got to read that.
Yes.
So we're about to start Tawny Man.
So it's perfect to read to get back into the Fitz part of the world. But it actually explains something of the history of the wit and So I really liked it. It's very short. I think that I listened to it on audiobook, and it was maybe 2 hours. Well, it's probably closer to 3 or 4, but I listened on 2 times speed. It's a fun one. Randy is already setting up the schedule. Tony Man and June. Perfect.
Sounds good.
I haven't yet. You have Master of the Pigeons that I want to give a try. And then Wolf's Brother, and you also have the Reindeer People or something like that. But she writes under Megan Lindholm, but it's also fantasy, I think. So I don't really know why she has those two pen names. What's going to be different between them? Yeah.
Adding it.
Yeah, my husband saw that book and he was like, Robin Hobb is the dumbest name to put. I said, no, it's not. It's a good name to remember. And he was like, okay. I was like, you need to read the book.
It's the Willful Princess and the Piebald Prince. So it's a long name. I'll write it to you. I'll message you, Brandy, because it's a long one.
All right, are we ready to do our first sprint
Yes, I was thinking the
before
same
everybody
thing.
falls asleep?
So I'm just going to add a banner because I completely forgot to make a timer. Are we going to maybe just read for half an hour? See how we like the beginning?
That sounds good. You can get through the preface.
Yes, this works. Happy reading, everyone. half hour is up. Okay, so how far did all of you get?
I'm on page 40.
Is that chapter 2 or 3?
The beginning of chapter 3. Like
Same.
just a couple pages.
I just finished chapter 2.
Same.
I'm about to finish chapter 2.
Okay, so first of all, I did not know this was urban fantasy.
Same. I had
Neither.
no idea.
Right. I was like, is this happening now? And then I got to a page where she was talking about an iPhone. I was like, okay.
I know I kind of tripped up on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That started for me when she said van. I was like, a van? And it kept going. I was like, a phone? Okay. All right. I know what's going on here now.
I had to go back and read the page. It might have just been page 2, but where she was talking about the different body parts that they would eat. I was like, wait, what is happening? I went back and read it again. I was like, somebody's eating a hand? What is it? It was so gross.
But I did really like it so far. When I got to the part where she said that she was a virgin, or it was explained, I thought, Stacy, you're not doing that.
Yes.
I know. I thought about that too. I was like, mm-hmm.
But it makes sense why she is.
Yeah, it's explained.
As long as she doesn't fall in love with some jackass, we'll be okay.
That's a series that I still need to read. It's on my TBR. But
Yeah, it's
I read the
online.
first book, and then I kept saying I was going to move on to the next one, and I never did. And now I can't remember what happens in the first book. So
you need to read.
Yeah.
Well, Maria is probably already off to bed, but well, it's 24 hours, but usually I don't think that we finish the book in 24 hours. We just try to read as much as we can. And then these reading sprints are just to start off. We're not having 24-hour reading sprints. Just to start.
And thus began the discussion of me looking like I'm falling asleep. I saw them pop up on there and I was like, really? My problem is that I'm having to read it on the computer. And so the bright light really is making my eyes burn. And so I kept rubbing my eye the whole time. I think I'm going to switch to my phone to read the next sprint.
Yeah, that might be easier.
Yeah.
Crazy ladies. Well, yeah, Jose is in the same time zone as me. So for him, it's now 8 a.m. Perfect time to start reading. Rain Wilds, Robin Hood. Yes. By the way, I'm just going to quickly say this. Jose, next month, I think the 22nd of May, he's having some live discussions on his channel for, I think, the Farseer trilogy at this point. I'm going to join. I think that Derry is going to join. If anybody else wants to join, you can. I'm really liking all of those Farseer discussions. Okay, back to the book.
Yeah, I'm exactly 10%.
I actually don't. I'm going to have a look. I'm 12%, it says.
Yeah,
but
mine's 12% too.
Yeah, I'm at 11.
So I was listening to the audiobook and I found myself like wandering away from reading and just kind of, And next thing I know, I was like, oh, what just happened? So I had to go back and read again. So audiobook's not working for me tonight.
is it just not that good, or?
No, it's just I'm too tired. That my mind is wandering too easily. I have to look at the words or I'm going to go someplace else, to dreamland.
I don't think I'm going to be able to go to sleep unless I take a Benadryl. I am itching like crazy. I don't know if I've got pollen on me, but it's keeping me awake. So,
Oh, no.
Oh, that's annoying.
yeah.
Pollen is really bad right now in the South.
Bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's starting here as well.
Okay, so in the very beginning, does she call herself a fallen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is she some kind of like demon?
No, it says they're all descended from fallen angels, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
like
I thought.
werewolves,
Anyway.
vampires, fairies, all of them, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what it said. But she's different because she can like.
Well, because
can
she's
tell
the
somebody's-
only one left of her kind. I don't know if we're considering that to be a spoiler if we reveal it, but
I think it says that in the synopsis. So she's the only one left. Well, except her brother, right?
right. But
Or
she
assuming
thought
her
he was
brother is
dead.
or okay. And then, but her power is that when she touches you, she knows your fears, and then somehow she can make them like
She can like
hallucinate their
manifest
fears.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine.
It's cool.
It's a nice
That's
power.
different.
Yeah.
I know I liked it, especially when she had that deputy dude like feeling like his
Yeah.
brain.
He's like,
He deserved it.
is it
Not a
that too?
tumor.
Yeah, but I am liking it a lot because usually it's all about fairies and stuff like that. And there is a fairy here, but she isn't. She's something else. And she's also powerful because usually in these times of romances, well, I haven't read a ton, but it's like the normal human girl and then the fairy. And here it's she has her own powers.
Right. Yeah, I like it too, more than I kind of thought I would. Right? The preface, I almost said, okay, who's reading the preface? And then I was like, I guess we all are. So I read it. And then I was like, oh, those are the ones I hate the most, where it like tells you what's going to happen. Then it's like 3 weeks earlier. And I was like, but it's not bad. I liked it.
I kind of like how I kind of just pushed that to the back and forgot about all of that. And like my brain just straight went into 1 week earlier, and I'm like, okay, this is the beginning. I don't care what anybody else.
My brain does the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, nothing else.
I was a little bit afraid, like reading the prologue. It was like she has blood all over her and she's never going to be clean again. And I thought, please don't start with a sexual assault.
That's what I thought too. I was like, oh my gosh. I did. That's what I thought.
So I was pleasantly surprised that it was a kidnapping. It's still not that nice, but at least she escaped.
I'm interested to figure out who this one person is, fairy thing that keeps coming over. It's kind of like
I
stalking
don't
her.
trust him.
I don't either. You don't trust fairies.
Never trust fairy.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Fiction
Well,
has
then-
taught us anything.
And then there's something else in chapter 3 when we get going that I'm also having a theory about already too. So
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, but I'm also liking how she's like, don't stop me. You normally don't do this type of thing. It's not nice.
You're creepy. Go away.
Exactly.
What do you guys think of the representation with the autistic chef? Or is he chef or
Yeah, I like it.
Cyrus?
And the mention of the eating disorder as well.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it.
and the fact that he might have powers, like she sensed something from him, but she doesn't know what he is. That was cool too.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. And with the eating disorder, I hope that there is like more to that, or more like prep for that, instead of just like, oh, let's just mention it and then that's a thing, because it's just nah. But yeah, I hope there was like a reason that was mentioned.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes into it more.
I like it that the main character's ability is something that we normally see as like a bad guy ability, like to take your fears and then make them manifested for you. So we know that she doesn't like to touch people, and that's why she's a virgin. But also, like, how is that going to get turned around? And is she going to learn something about how to control it or how to do something with it so that she can touch people? Because that has to do with more than just romantic touching.
Mhm.
Like there's just in general touching people. So
Well, she doesn't avoid touching people.
There's
She just
certain.
does
well,
uses
like
it
she
limitedly.
doesn't want B to hug her, but she's like, even though B knows I don't like to hug, she grabbed me. And then I guess the other lady with the eating disorder, she said she's the only person that she willingly touches.
Mhm.
So
Can you imagine going through life and anytime you come in contact with somebody, all you get is their fears?
Yeah, there should be something there that you can also turn it off. It's
Yeah, like a barrier.
yeah. Mhm.
that's what I thought
Okay.
about Rogue from X-Men, because every time she touches like somebody, doesn't it do the same thing?
Literally kills them.
It steals their life force.
Yeah.
So I have a prediction, but I don't want this to happen. But if they do the trope like where she meets the guy and he's the only one that when she touches him, she doesn't feel his. Oh my god, I don't know if I'll be able to read it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's so special.
Yeah, it's probably going to go that way, right? But maybe he will surprise us. But usually that's the way, and then you also immediately know, yeah, he's the guy, because that's such a telltale that something special is going to happen.
So
And
I
it's
thought.
a solution.
Go Ash.
So I thought this sounded kind of similar, but there's a book by Avita Weiss. It's called Skin. And it's kind of the same concept. Like it's this girl who she can touch people and soak up their like information and stuff. So it's not. I don't think it's really like fear, but it's kind of the same thing, except she's, like I guess with the gargoyle, like the gargoyle's like her body protection or bodyguard or whatever.
That's nice. And it's a standalone, or it's the start of a series?
No, this is well, I think it's a short story. It's like 54 pages.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's
It's very spicy. On the spicy scale, it's
Even better.
oh. Okay. Well, then Brandy will pick it on her.
Poor Brandy.
I would be uncomfortable if my mother read it, and that's saying something because you can't surprise my mama.
So did any of you guys finish the last book in 24 hours? Because that was the first time I actually finished one in 24 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
I
So
think
Brandy
I
picked a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a standalone.
Yeah, I do think that you have a trilogy, but I think that each of the books can be read as a standalone, something like that. But it's just in
They're
the same
different
book.
characters, I think.
I think
Yes.
so.
That's pretty typical for romance. It's like it's in the same universe, the series is, but then you have like different POVs for everyone in each book.
Needed to put it on screen.
Brandy, do you like fantasy PNR sort of smut, or like smut in general, or oh, can you hear Baby Shark in the background?
I just watched the newest one with Sharky B.
Ooh, everybody did a good job with that one.
It was a fast read and it was fun. I was cracking up. It was a really good one. I read all the smut.
Everything.
Except for Dinosaur Smut. She hasn't done that one yet.
Okay. Did you read the Blue Alien smut?
I just got the Ice Planet Barbarian book in the mail.
You know,
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people like it. So maybe
I know,
we
me
have to
too.
read
I
that.
thought it was on sale at Book Outlet or something, and I was like, yes, I will.
Don't listen to the audiobook.
Why? Is it embarrassing? It's bad.
No, but Georgia talks like this, and she's really a country
Oh, God,
girl,
no,
and
thank you.
yeah, I'm like, I don't talk like that.
I know. I have a problem a lot of times when they give people Southern accents from the Southern US or they
Yeah.
make them say y'all in the wrong way. I'm like, y'all has to be more than one person.
Mhm.
It's very annoying to me with Sandy the squirrel on SpongeBob. Every time she talked to SpongeBob, she would say, y'all doing something. And I was like, no, he's just one person. That's not y'all.
It's a plural. It's not singular.
I was like, it means you all. It is all of you.
all.
It's not just him. It made me so mad. I'm like, they don't have one person working for SpongeBob from the South that can be like, that's not how we say y'all. Like,
Mercy Thompson.
So that's the one that I added a long time ago because I can't remember what it was, but I think it's by an Indigenous author and it's about an Indigenous character. So Mercy Thompson is Indigenous and she's like part wolf or something. What was that?
Yeah,
It's
she's like a
Patricia Brigg.
mechanic.
Did I
Yeah.
just
The main
spoil
character's a
that?
mechanic.
the first one is called Moon Called.
Yeah.
I have
And
it on my
so-
TBR too.
But I heard there was
Ariana.
like a little bit of spice, but I didn't.
It
I
says
thought
she
it
could
was
shift into a coyote.
a coyote. Yeah.
That's cool.
That also works.
I say you.
You.
Ding, ding. Soldier
Soldier
Son.
Oh Lord Almighty.
So, Stacey, I saw that you already picked some books for our readathon next month in May.
Yes. I have 4 books that I put a poll in the Discord for us to pick for May. I haven't picked a date yet. I
I
have to
voted
look
this
at
time.
the calendar.
I have
Hmm?
also voted.
Yeah, I voted this time. Last time I didn't know, I hadn't heard of any of the books, so I was like, I don't really care. I'll read any of them. So
I do have a request as far as timing wise.
Okay.
I was gonna see if we could either do it like anytime before May 23rd. Because I'm hopefully gonna be having a baby nephew. So
Oh, that's so nice.
Congratulations.
I know, I'm excited.
May
We don't know
23rd is
what-
my nephew's birthday. So
Oh gosh, I don't know if it's a boy. I just assume because I want a boy, but we don't know the gender yet. So the baby is gonna be here at some point in time.
Okay. Yeah, then,
Okay, so here, this thing. My birthday is May 20th. So why don't we do it that night? Because I probably won't be doing anything fun for my birthday. And that'll be my fun thing.
My birthday is May 23rd, Stacy.
Hey!
Okay, buddies.
is that when the baby's
Maybe.
due on the 23rd?
No, it's due on the 27th, but I have a feeling it's gonna be.
She wants it born on her birthday.
Well,
Listen,
May
I
23rd
said-
is my nephew's birthday. So I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I
it's a
thought all the
good day.
nephews were
It's a
on the
good
23rd.
day to be born. Yeah, I know, right? Like, we don't even know the gender. I'm already calling a he.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 4 books that I picked for next month, just so you guys know, 2 of them are contemporary and 2 are fantasy, and then 2 are serious and 2 are lighthearted fun. So there's a mix of multiple choices in there. So I know some of you guys said you already voted, but those of you who want to join and you want to vote, there's hopefully something there for everybody. We'll see.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
I'm
added the
glad-
link to the Discord below. So if anybody wants to join the Discord, you can find it. in the Discord.
I'm glad that sad book only has 1 vote. Y'all better not vote for it.
The Colleen Hoover one. So
There's
I threw
nothing
that
to
in
read
there. I was trying to find a romance, contemporary romance. And so I went and I was like, typed in Google, most popular contemporary romance. But I wanted something that was popular enough that I knew if it was going to be good, but not so popular that I thought that anybody had read it in our group. And so that popped up and that we talked about it last time. And I was like, I'm going to throw this on here.
I saw it and I was like, nope, I'm not voting for that.
It
What
does
did
sound
you all
sweet
vote for?
though.
I voted
Yeah,
for
it
2
is.
of them.
It's supposed to be good.
Ooh.
You voted for 2?
I voted for 2 of them.
Oh, I saw them. They just changed and went up to 6 instead of 5. So now I know which ones you voted for.
I'm a Gemini. I have a hard time. Oh,
With choices.
yes. 1,800 milliliters.
That's
I
a big
think
one.
I have trouble drinking water, so in order for me to be able to keep on it, I keep this with me.
What's the Megan Quinn one?
It's called Kiss and Don't Tell.
Ooh.
It's a romantic comedy. That's all I
Yeah,
know. I don't even know what it's about. I added it a long time ago to my TBR, and then I saw it again recently. I think Brandy put it on her Goodreads, and so I was like, hey, let's put that on here.
I picked Legends and Lattes just because
That's the
I've
one
been
I kind of want to
hearing-
read.
I've been hearing so many funny things, like good things about how it is. And he started out as a audiobook narrator and then wrote a book. So I'm like, maybe it'll be good on audio.
I've started it and it is good.
Ooh, okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
what did
I've
she
heard a
think
lot of
of the baby bottle?
It does look a bit like it, like a gigantic baby bottle.
Oh, what Ashley's drinking out of. I was like, what is a baby bottle?
I was looking over here. I was like, "What? You mean the icons?" Like,
I was doing the same thing. You won't cry on camera.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about it, except that you cry. I'm like, I don't want to go in knowing that I'm going to cry in a book.
I didn't cry. I teared up. Like I got like the foggy eyes, like once or twice, but I didn't cry. And I'm like a crier in books. Like in life, I'm like,
Same.
don't cry.
Is it a sad cry or a happy cry? See,
Neither of those things.
I was going to say, she had to think about that for a long time.
well, if it's an angry cry, I can't do it.
It's not an angry. It's like a
Bittersweet.
yeah.
I think you can probably like say that about all of our books. Apparently, Brandy, we can, as Ashley
You
just
can
said
vote
she
as many
did.
times.
Ashley says yes.
You cannot vote
Fine.
for the same thing twice, but you can vote for multiple.
Yeah, because I tried
the
to do that and I
options.
unvoted for it.
Yes.
No,
Because that would not be fair.
That does look like a baby bottle.
yes.
No Stephen King books. Sorry.
I voted for the Bone Shard Daughter
Mm-hmm.
because I've heard a lot of great things lately, and I have that first book. I bought it when it came out, thinking like I'm going to read this immediately, and then I didn't, of course.
I might have that one too. I don't know. I'll have to
I've
look.
also read that and it is very good. It's like multiple POV and just very good.
So you have
it's like
nothing to vote on then, Lana. You've read them
You've
all?
read everything.
I haven't read the Legends and Latte, so I voted for that. I like started it and then I was like, no, I want to read this with people. So I stopped because I was like, this is good. I want to talk about it with people. So I was like, I'm going to stop and it's going to come up somewhere. And Stacey put it in for May and I was like, see?
I've seen it, and it doesn't have a cover that makes you look twice, right? So I was kind of like, just kept scrolling, and then I just kept seeing it, and I was like, I gotta find out what this is about. And then I read the synopsis, and I was like, I need to read this, and so I put it on the poll. And it said in there somewhere it had a heartwarming romance, and I was like, well, that's for us.
Oh, Brandy, did you finish book 7 or whatever it is?
Are you all that far along in the read along already?
I thought she was on the Dark Tower book, like the last book 7, the Dark Tower.
We're on the last book, and then we're going to read the novella next month. And then I think we're going to circle back and read Gunslinger again. Because why not? Drag it out.
But I heard that, right? That you don't like the Gunslinger the first time around, but then if you've read everything and you go back, that it has a completely different meaning.
Yeah. That's what Jeff Lane said. So we're gonna do
Oh,
the
you should do
Jeff
that.
Lane experience.
I think that's what, to me, makes Stephen King such a unique writer, is that he had no idea when he wrote The Gunslinger, like everything that was going to happen. And yet by the time he gets to book 7, he has so many things tied in to The Gunslinger. And I'm like, the fact that even though his brain and all the books in between that, he can still remember and go like, okay, I want to hook this back in. And like, I don't know, as a writer, that just blows my mind that he can do those kinds of things. And
Have
I
you
think
read
that's
the
why
Dark Tower series? All of it?
I'm in the middle of it. I haven't finished, but I'm about to start Wizard and Glass.
I have it. I haven't started yet though.
That's good.
Not
There-
the Gunslinger.
it's
What's
kind
that?
of a roller
Drawing of the
coaster.
Three. Drawing of the Three was an amazing book. Like from
Yes.
the first line, I was just like, oh my gosh. And it did not stop through the whole book. It was
Yep.
so good.
Mm.
But you got to get through the weird gunslinger first.
Which luckily is short.
It is
Yeah,
short.
it's really
Yes.
little.
Are you
If
also
we
reading-
didn't have the group read, I would not have moved on after Gunslinger. I was just like, this sucks. I gave it a 2-star. And now, like, if you were to ask me to rate it right now without rereading it, it would be 4-star. Just because I know now what it all meant. But when you're reading it, you have no idea what it all means. It doesn't make sense. You're just like, I'm lost. I'm not normally this stupid. Why am I reading this?
Yeah, I am reading a ton of in-between books. So, but I found a long list of like Dark Tower related books. And so I'm reading, I don't know, it's something like 50 books by the time it's all done with. And
Like
so,
all of his books.
no, he has way more than that, as I've discovered. But so that's what I'm doing. So.
And there's like characters that are in his other books as well, or
Well, I have decided that Stephen King only has one bad guy, and he just puts him in every one of his books, and he goes by a different name, but he's the same bad guy in every book. So once you meet him, you're like, oh, I see him everywhere else. But there are concepts in the Dark Tower. One of them is the concept of a ka, which is like a group that works together to do a thing. And in a lot of his books, there are kas, and they actually mention it in the books. So, like, I'm reading any book that mentions a ka, and no, Cujo is not on the list, thank goodness, because I saw that as a child and was traumatized. So, hopefully, I do not have to read that book.
I said the same thing to Brandy. I was like, that's just one. I saw the movie and I might watch the movie again, but I don't. It was so, the movie was so intense. I cannot imagine what the book would be like.
Yeah,
That
Pet
makes
Cemetery
sense.
is also not on the list, and I'm
Same.
glad for the same reason. I don't.
I was so about to say that. I was like, I saw Pet Cemetery as a kid, and I was just like, Stephen King is not for me.
And you know,
and that's
as a
what I thought,
parent
too.
now, I don't think I could even do it. Having a child, I would no.
Yeah,
No,
I definitely.
because now the
don't want to.
beginning of the book would be even worse than the rest of it. As a kid, you're like, "Oh, the poor kid," but that's about it. You don't really feel that kind of emotion. It's the scary ass stuff that gets you.
Right.
But now, as an adult, it would be the whole beginning of it, and then you relate to the parents doing stupid things, and no.
Yeah, I don't want to do it, but it's not on the list.
everybody's been traumatized by Stephen King, it seems. Some point in their life.
Right. Well, and that's what's funny is everybody, I mean, in me included, I was like, I'm not going to read Stephen King. They're all scary books, but they're not. Like the amount of like actual scary books that he has is so small compared to like the fantasies and the mysteries. I mean, I just read Desperation and it's just a straight up mystery. I mean, it is still disgusting. Like, I think that's what makes it horror is that it's gross, but. Oh, the Dark Tower spoils Cujo.
I just want to say that I wasn't scared by Stephen King. I was actually scared by Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Fair. Fair.
Because I had seen oh gosh, Picture Show.
Rocky Horror.
Oh, Rocky Horror.
Yes, Rocky Horror Picture Show. So like I remembered seeing him as that, and then I saw him in the clown stuff. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I love horror, but I know that I can't watch it because I can't sleep for a month on end. It's horrible. And then my husband's like, I'm going to go away this evening and I'll maybe be back like 3 a.m. And I know that I have to stay awake in the corner of the room, just surviving until he comes back. So I decided that horror, even though I like it, I just can't deal with it.
Mm.
Mhm.
It's a not at night thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even do it. Like watching stuff that like is ridiculous, like Friday the 13th or something. Like I know how stupid that is, and still my kids will want to watch it, and then it's over, and I'm like, somebody's got to come stand outside the bathroom while I go to the bathroom. Like like this is your fault for making me watch this movie, so let's go to the bathroom together. Like, I can't do it.
I
My
saw
son's
this movie when I was a kid. I don't even know the name of it. I don't remember what it was about, but there was this one scene where this girl is sleeping in bed and her feet are like hanging off the end of the bed.
Oh,
And the bad guy is like tickling her feet or something.
Hmm.
Or no, he
give me a
tickles her
foot rub
feet
or
and then
not?
he pulls, it's a ghost, and he pulls her off the bed. And I, to this day, cannot sleep with my feet hanging off the bed.
same.
Can't do it.
No matter how warm it is, my feet needs to be tucked in. Otherwise, somebody's going to grab them.
Yeah, I don't know what it says about me, but when I was a child, I had decided that if I tucked my feet in and I got completely under the cover, had the cover all the way up to my neck, and I would be really still and I would say, time in. And that meant that all the knives and everything else that I imagined that were around me could like go, but I wouldn't move. And then I would say, time out. And then it couldn't do it. So I could sleep however I wanted to. And the knives or whatever was there was not allowed to move. And so I was fine. And I just convinced myself that that was how life worked.
That's awesome. It was my grandmother that like has given me all of the things that I'm scared about now. Like things that I think about even now. Like in my room, there's only one way that we can have our bed. And the wardrobe's at the end of it, and it's got like one isn't a mirror, but the other side is. And I have to have the side that's on the mirror not at the end of my bed, because my grandmother always told me never sleep with a mirror at the end of your bed because spirits and demons can come through the mirror and suck you out.
Oh,
Suck you out of your
gosh.
bed. I was like,
Don't say that.
thanks, Nana.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, like so many weird superstitious things. Like every time you go into a like a cemetery or anything, and every time you go out, you have to wash your hands before you go in, even if it's just water. You just need to like cleanse yourself because otherwise you can take spirits with you. I was like, and that's why I don't go to cemeteries very often. Like, she's given me all of these like superstitious things that I even now. And like whistling at night, don't whistle at night. And I did some research on that, and I was like, that's like an American Indigenous thing, not a Māori thing. I was like, why are you telling us this? Oh, actually, and Aboriginal. It's Aboriginal as well. But I was just like, why are you, this isn't our law. Why are you putting these like superstitions in my head?
Agree, Nicole. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I still hate mirrors at night. I won't even look in the mirror when I go to the bathroom and I wash my hands. I have to look down. Like, nope.
Same.
Nope. Dark and mirrors, nope.
Oh no, I stare at them because then if you look down and look back up, that's when the person's there. Like, no.
Yeah, but you just don't look. You
Just don't say
look.
Bloody Mary.
Oh no, none of that matters. I
granted
don't
my
like.
son for saying that.
I'm just
All right.
still scared of the dark. Even, I mean, I'm 44 years old. I'm still scared of the dark. I'm not.
I want to take y'all on a little journey with back into my childhood.
Yes.
My father, I was 11 or 12. My father did a fake seance in a barn with the fishing net, and then my great uncle was back behind making like demon noises.
Yeah.
Nope.
Traumatized for life.
There's a reason why I didn't go on specific mission trips, and when I did, I made sure I stayed put in the van because I wasn't going out. I tell you what, I was not going anywhere. Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh.
I love him though. He's good. He's fine.
It's easy for me to get scared. My husband is a preacher, and whenever we had a church, the very first church we had, he needed me to go get something. I don't even remember. It was during the day, but it was an empty church. I was like, I'm not going in there. And he was like, come on. He's like, it's a church. Like, it should be safe. I was like, I don't care. I'm not going in that giant building by myself. Like, I'm not doing that. So I took my dog with me, like a little weenie dog. And I was like, we're going to the church. So I made the dog go in the church with me so that I was freaked out. I was like, I'm not going there.
Okay, but why did I
get stuff up? So if like your dog started like barking, like and going off, then you know like I need to get out.
Yes,
that's true. And he could have been barking at absolutely nothing. I still would have freaked out and been like, let's go. We got to get out of here.
Exactly. Yeah, we're redecorating our bedroom, and I found like a beautiful mirror with like gold foiling and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, we need to put this in the bedroom. And my husband looked at me and he said, do you really want to have a mirror when you're going to sleep? Okay, yeah, no, we're not going to use that. Because I know that I'm just going to put something on top of it every time I go to sleep, because otherwise I just can't sleep.
We have
Yolene's mirror twin comes out in the middle of the night.
Or every time you stand up to go to the bathroom, you're like, there's somebody in here. Oh, never mind.
Exactly.
I don't know if this is any better. Don't sniff in the microphone. I don't know if this is any better, but so we have a mirror hanging up, but you can't see anything because our TV is in front of it. I don't know. I just work here. I really don't know. But what scares me worse is actually the TV because of all the Ring movies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all. Except, thank goodness, it's not like one of the boxy TVs. Like, it's a screen TV, but still, I'm just like.
Do you check behind the TV before you go to bed?
Every single time. We have like a little Echo Dot back there. I'm like, psst, Alexa, are you alone back there? Like,
what if she says no? As a matter of fact,
I'm getting out of here. I'm driving to Texas to my mama's house. I am not coming back. You can't make me.
Oh.
Okay, I have one more question. When you guys go to the bathroom, do you look behind the shower curtain in the bathroom? Like, because my children refuse to let us close the shower curtains because they need them to be open when they go in a bathroom to make sure that there are no killers in there. Because
yeah, I totally understand that.
That's sound logic.
We have see-through shower curtains.
Yeah. Same
We don't have shower curtains. We've got like a
glass,
the clear panel things.
yeah, there was a person giving a tip about cleaning your house before a party, and she was like, take your laundry and put it in baskets and put it in your shower and close the shower curtain. Nobody's gonna look. And all the comments were like, I'm looking behind your shower curtain before I go to the bathroom to make sure there are no killers. That was so funny. It makes me think of every time I go in a public bathroom, I want every stall in that bathroom to be filled up with people, and there be tons of people washing their hands and everything. Because if I walk into a public bathroom and I'm the only person in there, I'm for sure thinking that Michael Myers is about to come steal my purse and take my car or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I am never ever washing my hands either. If I'm the first one in there, I'm grabbing the hand sanitizer. If I'm alone and I'm running out, like I'm not standing in front of that sink long enough to do anything. My children are both in therapy. That's what's going on.
This conversation took an interesting turn.
Exactly.
I love it.
I thought this was therapy. That's why I opened up about my dad.
So, are we maybe going to read a little bit during the reading?
Yes, almost 2 hours.
Is it okay if we read until 15 after, then it's like 35 minutes of reading.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm gonna get on my phone this time.
Good. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Happy reading, everyone. Time's up, everyone. Hi, Hans. So, how far along are we?
I'm on page 80.
Ooh,
in
that's
chapter
chapter.
5.
I'm also somewhere in chapter 5. I think halfway through, maybe.
I only got another 5%. I think I'm in chapter 4.
I'm 18%.
But I told you the love interest was going to be some special person who she couldn't feel his fears.
Yeah.
I'm right.
I
Kind of
highlighted it instead and put a note on it and said, Stacey called it.
Yeah. I was
I
like,
didn't want to be right.
I did like that there was also Oliver, but
Yeah.
it seems like he's not real, but I don't know if he's not real.
oh, I full on think Oliver is real. And
Yeah.
she just likes to pretend like he's not. I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Because otherwise she's like arguing with her own self. I'm
Yeah.
like, what is the matter?
You don't do that?
Exactly.
Well, when I was a kid, I did have an imaginary friend that I argued with all the time, but I was always right. So it was fine.
I sure as heck don't make out with myself.
But I was like, girl. Also, she just jumped right into it. I wanted to be like, okay.
I'm
this
uncomfy.
seems to negate her whole thinking at the beginning. Like, if she was just a virgin because she couldn't touch anybody, she has solved that with Oliver. So clearly, it's got more to do with I just can't touch anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I don't think she's. I think she's. Are you talking about her being with Oliver like intimately?
Like, she could have been with Oliver, but she said
She
no.
keeps saying no.
Yeah, which means that it's not just about touching somebody and seeing their fears. Like,
Yeah.
if that's all it was, then she's got Oliver. So I don't know. She's got some problems, I think, but it's not going to be solved by this fairy dude. I mean,
Nope. Exactly. Well, I
Yep.
do anticipate a love triangle happening because she thinks that Oliver isn't real if he does turn out to be real, and by then she has some feelings for the fairy guy.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, we just learned some things in chapter 5 about the fairy guy, but I'm like, okay, well, he's out.
Okay, I think that I'm not
I
there
don't
yet.
like any of them. I don't like Oliver. Oliver's the one that's like, your brother's been gone for 2 years. Forget about him. I'm like, really, Oliver? Come on now.
Exactly.
Maybe he's the one who has her brother.
I think he's the bad guy.
I don't know. I think the fairy dude might be the bad guy. He's
Or
definitely
the
not
bad
Un,
guy and it's conspiracy.
right?
All I know is I thought Tamlin was the good guy in book 1 of A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then he turned out to be Tamlin the tampon. So
I haven't read that
it
yet.
is possible.
I haven't read it either.
You're not missing
Sorry.
much.
I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but
I have the books. I'm doing like a read along, like we're calling it a mass along. We're starting with A Throne of Glass and then reading through that, and then we're doing A Court of Acta
Okay.
after.
Yeah, she's written a lot of books. I haven't read her Throne of Glass series yet. I think Ashley has. And
Yeah, I've read all but Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash, I think is what it's called. And I have it on my shelf, but I don't really want it to end, so I just keep putting it off. I'm like, all right, well, it's not going to end if I don't read the book, so it's okay.
that's hilarious. I read Throne of Glass, like only the first book. And I read the first book of the new one.
Crescent City.
Yeah, Crescent City. I read the first book of that one.
I have the first one, but I've heard that the second one isn't as good. Also by people who really love the first one, and now they're reading the second one and they're like, nothing happens.
Yeah, I didn't even really like the first one, so I'm like, I think I'm gonna pass on the second one. I read her books because everybody was like, "Oh, she's so wonderful," and I was like, "All right, I got to figure this out. Why?"
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't.
nearly DNF'd the first like Crescent City because like the first like 50 pages I was like because I hadn't read, the only book of hers that I've read is the first Crescent City, and after 50 pages I was like, is anything going to happen? Like, I'm bored. It's just a whole lot of info dumping, and I was like, I don't care for this. When does this start? And then it started and I was like, I love this.
Yeah, I like the mystery in Crescent City, like the figuring out who killed him, and all that stuff. And I liked that, but there's too much of everything else. I was like, no. And I was doing, what chapter did we start on in this? Chapter 3? Is that where we all were at the beginning?
I think so.
Oh, I was doing some hard eye rolling trying to get through chapter 3. I was like, wow, that things escalated quickly.
Yes.
And then
Got a little spicy there. I wasn't prepared.
I know,
I wasn't
jumped
either.
right in. I was like,
It's just like I got whiplash.
yeah.
I thought this is going to be slow burn because she can touch people. So people need to like really get her trust and earn her trust. And this is going to be slow burn. And I'm here for it. But then all of a sudden, chapter 3 started and
I
no
was
slow
like,
burn.
oh, by the way, here's Oliver.
I liked how the fairy called her out, because one of the things I was thinking at the beginning was, okay, so she gets kidnapped and then she just goes to work. And he actually said,
Exactly.
so you get kidnapped and you just go to work. It's like, right.
I know. And she didn't even call to be like, hey, I'm coming in today. Like, she just showed up and her boss is like, you've been gone. We put out a missing persons report on you. Like,
Exactly.
And then everybody's like, oh, okay, it's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay.
well, the only policeman we've met so far is an absolute ridiculous person. So
Wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ian. I don't like him.
Yeah. I'm just still confused as to why in her dream she was like, no. If she thinks she made this person up and it's a dream,
Yeah. So
Why not, right?
why
exactly.
would you, like, what? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's a
Also,
dream.
she also went to sleep in her dream too, which I was like, you're already asleep, girl. I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
Like,
That's like
Well,
the most boring dream ever. I'm in my dream and I'm going to sleep.
And
that's-
why does
that's-
she actually say, she actually thinks at one point, does it count if it happens in a dream?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
except that it's probably not a dream because he's real. Like, I don't know. He's just right.
Yeah.
I just imagine at that part where she's like, this doesn't feel right. I'm going to say no. Sorry. And he's just like, okay, that's okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
though?
Right. And then she's like, he's here all by himself the rest of the time. Like, he's here even when I'm awake. And like, what? He's trapped
just-
in this, like, so she didn't create him, but she may have him trapped in some kind of weird reality where she can't bring anything into the dream other than her clothes, which is weird. But he can bring, like, he can manifest painting supplies. I'm like, what is happening? This is
Mhm.
clearly
Rose
not a
just-
dream.
Just sitting in the back of her consciousness painting
Right.
and twiddling his thumbs like,
Just waiting till she comes there so he can pleasure her. Like,
oh God.
he is a dream. Never mind.
I'm sorry, but
That's not real. So.
any opportunity that I have in a dream to have sex, I'm gonna have it. Like it's a dream. Like I'm not.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's so stupid.
I know.
Bye,
Bye,
Brandy.
Brandy.
Bye,
Good
Brandy.
night.
Good night sleep. Yeah, I am looking forward to when she goes back to sleep and she meets Oliver again. Because I was like, well, in the meantime, a couple of things happened.
I got
Yeah.
married.
Yeah.
I know. I was wondering if y'all had gotten there to that part yet. It seems like the dumbest thing in the world to me that somebody's like, we're going to get married. Oh, and I'm going to say my vows in a different language.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
So
you
you
just
don't know
gave
what
him
was
your
promised.
soul. Right. You just sold your soul to whatever that thing is. This being. He put some kind of
I know
spell
she's
on you.
worried about having sex in her dream because it doesn't feel right. But the whole getting married to what?
Yeah.
It's
What?
just,
I did laugh whenever he was like, okay, come over here. And she said, what? Does the woods have a special meaning or power? And he was like, I just didn't want to get married in the driveway.
I didn't want to get married on the corner. Sorry.
I know, right? It's like, what? I don't know. The whole everything seems to move really quickly in places where I'm just like, oh, what just happened? Like,
Not to mention, she
I
just
know, we're
got
not even
abducted
100
by
pages.
goblins.
right.
She just got what?
She got
Abducted.
abducted by goblins.
Mm.
And then this
I've
fairy
heard-
shows up and she's like, oh, he's so powerful. Yeah, I'll marry you to get what I want.
But he can't lie.
But he can't lie.
Well, she doesn't know
That's
that. She keeps saying that's one of the theories or whatever. One of the
Yeah, but her mum also like admitted that most of her knowledge came from folklore.
yeah.
Right.
So
That's
so
right.
he's
Maybe that-
totally lying, and he's doing it in a different language, and she can't even understand. I love how she was like, "This is the language of the angels." Girl, how do you know that? Like, I just don't understand that
speak
she was all of a sudden.
mhm.
But she was sitting there recording it. And I was like, yeah, okay. That would be me, like, on the side, just be like,
Yeah,
stop,
recording it, but
paranoid.
then I would send it to somebody and be like, "Can you work on translating this? Because apparently I'm about to enter a different realm, and I'm gonna need to know what I just agreed to." Like,
Yeah.
and
Like, her
also,
timeline is weird.
her second vow was, "I will never lie to you." She just pushed herself into a corner. Like, what in the world?
Mhm.
That's not a
Why
vow
would
that you make to a strange person that you're marrying in the woods the day you met him.
Yeah, as
Exactly.
soon as she said that,
Yeah,
he was
cool.
like, I chose the right person.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, because her vows, she like stumbled over the 3 things that she promised to do and then just stood there looking at him. And he's like, I've chosen wisely. I'm like, what is the matter with you? Because she's not very articulate. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my god.
This
Yeah.
is so much fun.
Well, I must say, it's good that it's fast paced, but at the same time, I'm thinking maybe like 50 pages more wouldn't have hurt and establish the relationships a bit better before. Like, she's a virgin, she wants to have like a special someone, but every time she comes in contact with another man, it's like within 5 minutes, it's almost happening. So
Yeah,
Oh,
she
but
was
the
lusting
second
after the
time it
scary
was-
guy the first time she saw him.
Well, and the time with the fairy guy was because she was overwhelmed with the magic.
The mating magic.
Right. And again, he was like, no, I'm going to need you to be completely in control when we do this.
Why do I imagine him with long hair? He's like, no.
I'm like, first of all, you're super manipulative. I feel like you'll take her any way you can get her. Like, it doesn't need to be, no, I'm going to need you to not be overwhelmed by my magic for this to happen. Like,
let's not forget about the instant boner. Like, suddenly nothing was
I
there.
know.
and all of a
When I
sudden
read
it
that,
was
I even
there.
went back and reread the sentence. I was like, wait, what did I just read? Like,
That is not how anatomy works.
well, listen,
You don't
he's not
think
a
that-
human. He told her at the beginning, I'm not a human. So,
Now
It's
you
a
know.
magic
It's
boner.
Now
a
you
magical
know.
mating boner.
that's right.
Admit it, this wouldn't have been as much fun to read if it wasn't for this conversation right now.
yes.
Oh, right.
100%.
Well, when we were in the middle of reading, I was like, this man's going to need to get a lot better, or I'm going to be mad at him the rest of the book. So we'll see.
Yes,
'Cause
so
so far,
far
he's
he's-
not doing it.
Bland. You don't really know that much about him. I am wondering, because she thinks he's a fairy. Did he ever say that he's a fairy? Because he's talking in the language of the angels, and it's like, I can't see his fears, and so maybe it's something else.
I think that he may be a fairy, but he's something else. But in the chapter that I'm in right now, she is at the place where he lives.
Mm,
Oh,
same.
So we get to see how he interacts with the other people in his household.
Oh, so I bet you he's
Oh.
probably like, if this is anything like Holly Black's books, is gonna be like he's the chosen one, or not he's the chosen one, but like he's the king, and
the
in order to save his kingdom, he's gotta go and
Get a mate.
save the last nightmare.
Well, she said right as soon as they finished saying their vows or whatever, when the mating magic first started happening, that she was sensing what he was feeling, and it was hope. And I wanted to be like, that means he was super desperate whenever he found it.
You were actually like my fifth pick.
That should be warning bells going off in her brain. Like,
Red
really
flag,
needed a
red
mate.
flag.
And I just fell right into his trap. And now, but also, I don't know if y'all got to the discussion, but he says that he recognized her because she looks like her brother, and he has seen her brother.
Mhm.
I just don't get why she's not saying, you have been, like, she keeps thinking it. Oh, you've been around my brother. And then she says, think something like, how could he have been around him for 2 years and not tried to save him? Well, more warning bells is all I'm saying. Like,
Exactly.
at some point, just to be like, he's just not nice.
When they first meet, he tells her that he knows what she is, right? That he says, you're a nightmare. Your kind has been feared for so long. You've been hunted nearly to extinction. Your hearts are coveted like the fountain of youth. Does he want her heart?
Oh. Because if they take her heart, it's something that you don't feel fear anymore, right?
Right. If they eat it. Maybe he ate another nightmare heart, and that's why he doesn't have fear.
Maybe
like,
her brother's heart.
We do find a little bit more about what he might be in chapter 5. We at least get a and it's a fairy talking to her about it. So
Ooh.
I think he's an angel.
Yeah, I had the same vibes, but I'm not sure.
when they first were going there to the unseelie world or whatever, I thought, oh, he is going to be like the guy in charge, and he needed to find her to do something with his world or whatever to keep
Break
it
the
from-
curse.
Right. And so I don't know. That's not been disproven yet, but we'll see. I don't know.
She needs to fall in love with him to break the curse of his people.
I love it when he was like, in order for the vows to work, you have to be serious about it. I met you 5 minutes ago. Like, what do you want me to be serious
What are you going to say?
I like your eyes.
Right. I like that when I touch you, I don't see your fears.
Yeah.
I like your magic instant boner.
Right. know about that at the time.
All I can think about is just a bad magic trick. No, you see it? No, you don't.
Oh,
One of the things that kind of irks me about that whole like convenient her going to marry him is if you have the ability to know everybody's fears when you touch them, and this person you can't, doesn't that make you feel more vulnerable around them?
yeah, I think so. Exactly.
So you would think your walls would be up even more so. And she's just kind of like, okay. Like, that doesn't make
She's gone
sense.
back to her parents. Like, she's got some weird hang-ups. I'm guessing, I mean, we don't know that, but I'm guessing that her parents are not alive, and it's just her and her brother, and her mom was like, you have to take care of each other. Although, seriously, big sister being like, I'm headed to the sleepover, I'm out, like, take care of yourself. But I don't know. She keeps going back to that. Like, we have to take care of each other.
Do you want to know what's messed up? Is that this is what's intriguing. Like, I'm intrigued by this book.
Same.
Yeah, like
I'm not going to stop reading it. I definitely want to find out what's going on, but I'm afraid that the payoff for me is not going to be worth it because I don't like him, and I don't like Oliver either. Like, I don't know. So
I'm down for some smut. Give me some smut.
Yeah.
At
But
the
I
moment, it's
still,
just like
I
a
still
little
need it to be
carrot.
built up a little bit more. Like this sounded like a bow chicka wow wow situation where they just looked at each other and were like, okay, let's take our clothes off. I'm like, we're not even talking. Like we're just
Yeah.
headed straight to it. That's
There's
fine.
like zero tension.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's build up at least a few pages, not just
Give
like
me the pining.
Yeah. But it is going to be a lot of fun just to read it together and on Discord share our thoughts, because this is the kind of book you can just be silly about, I feel.
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm about to go to bed, so
Yeah.
it's
Same
too
here.
early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm going to continue with Way of Kings.
Nice.
Good luck.
Thank you. Okay, so everybody, I think that's for everybody else, it's time to go to bed, indeed. And I'm going to have some breakfast. Thanks for joining us and being a little bit silly together. And we are going to do another one next month. So, like I said, I have the Discord linked down below. And well, see you next time. And if you do want to continue talking about this one, just hop on into Discord. I'll also share my thoughts, probably starting tomorrow. Bye, everyone.